Greetings and a very warm welcome. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting. Coming at you guys today with a live 1 versus 1 battle featuring, spawning in the north, it's going to be the United States forces of Doggyislove. And spawning in the south, it's going to be the Wehrmacht forces of Don Francis. So welcome to the channel to these two players. The map today is going to be Langraskaya. Whoops, a little bit of a computer lag there as I pan around this one. This one's the Close and Brutal remake from Company of Heroes 1. Seemingly these rear echelons setting up some tank traps in reasonable positions to establish some cover. And as the two players move out and the opening scuffles begin, I'd actually like to take a moment to discuss something. Now this might take me a couple of minutes, so the initial action I will attempt to frame, but will not directly comment on for the first couple of minutes of this battle, because something's come to my attention. They've released the preview notes for the December balance patch, and this patch includes some pretty dramatic changes, so I'd like to go over them. I'd like to discuss them a little bit, give you my thoughts, and I'd really like to hear what you think, because these are very dramatic changes, and I'm curious as to whether you guys out there think that they're taking the game in the right direction. So, without further ado, let me overview these changes. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll give you a general feel for the changes. First and foremost, and probably the biggest change, is a complete revamp for the Overcommand West faction. So we're looking here at a complete change to the way the faction operates. So first of all, considerable buff, resource income increased to 100%. That's right, no longer will the Overcommand West faction have reduced resource income. They're just going to have a standard economy like everyone else, only I assume that they still can't build caches. They will now start with no fuel. Starting fuel reduced from 40 to 0. You now have to construct the Wehrmacht Schlepper trucks from your HQ. They will cost you 100 manpower and 15 fuel. So that means that you're looking at having to save up 55 fuel before you can build your first building. That means for the first, I don't know, probably 3-4 minutes of the game, you'll probably be using only Kubelwagens, Volksgrenadiers, Storm Pioneers, Rakettenwerfers. So an interesting change there. Costs for the Battlegrupper HQ, that's gone down, that's now just 30 fuel. And the units that you can get from your Battlegrupper HQ, they've changed now. You can get the infrared half-track, you can get the Lieg support gun, and the flak half-track from that building now. So no longer can you get the Jagdpanzer IV from that building. The Mechanized Regiment HQ, from there you can now, that still costs 200 manpower and 40 fuel, but from there you can now get the Puma, just like before, the Stukas Fuss, just like before, the Werfermann rocket launcher that is, and the Luke's Panzer II light tank will be available from the Mechanized Regiment HQ. That means that from the Schwerer Panzer HQ, which has had its cost increased to 200 manpower and 100 fuel, you can get the Jagdpanzer IV, the Panzer IV, the Panther, and Obersoldaten. Okay, so let's just quickly discuss that. I'm a little skeptical about this for a couple of reasons. First of all, the Panzer II Lux is a nasty little tank, and even though they've increased its cost, which is something I'll get onto in just a second, they've increased it from 55 fuel to 65 fuel, I still think you'll be able to get it incredibly quickly, and I'm not sure what that's going to mean for the early game against Overcommand anymore. I think that's possibly too potent of a unit, and I'm not sure that it should be available from a truck that early. Now, I also think that it's a mistake to move the Jagdpanzer to the Schwerer Panzer HQ, for the simple reason that you might not have that truck for a very long time, and the Schwerer Panzer HQ is now completely overloaded with basically redundant armoured anti-armour options. I mean, if you can buy a Jagdpanzer IV for 135 fuel, or a Panzer IV for 135 fuel, or a Panther for 40 fuel. I mean, it's already basically a no-brainer, because a Panther's just so good, it's almost always worth saving that extra 40 fuel and going for that option. So I just don't see that anyone will ever use... I mean, the Panzer IV and the Jagdpanzer IV are both now in the shadow of the Panther, and I don't think that anyone will ever really bother with them. Which I think is a great shame, because I really like the Jagdpanzer IV. It's one of my favourite units in the game, and it used to have its place. You know, when your teching was delayed, if you lost your Schwerer Schlepper truck before it could make the Schwerer Panzer HQ, you know, you had that nice heavy anti-tank option, which was still 135 fuel, so it's not like you could just, you know, build it willy-nilly. It was still a big commitment. But you would still at least have that option from an earlier truck, and it also brought some much-needed anti-tank to the Battlegrupper HQ, which now pretty much does not have any. So That's interesting. It also means that in the early game or early mid game, until you get the Schwerer Panzer HQ, Overcommand players are only going to have Rakettenwerfers and Pumas as dedicated anti-tank units. Now the Rakettenwerfer is not a very good anti-tank gun. The range is short and has a number of other issues. Yeah, it has some advantages too, like you can fall it back, you can put it in buildings, but generally speaking, I'm pretty sure everyone would rather have a pack gun or a 6-pounder or anything pretty much. So the Rakettenwerfer is a little bit limp. The Puma is just fine. Yep, I like the Puma a lot, but it's a little fragile, it's a little hit or miss, and to have your entire anti-tank ability hinged onto one light vehicle is a little bit sketchy, if you ask me. So, not sure what I think about that as a change either. The Kubelwagen has been massively changed. It is no longer a machine gun platform insofar as it no longer will suppress infantry. It will now be able to capture points at a 15% faster capture rate for some reason, not sure why that is. Its range has been reduced from 40 to 35. Its cost, I believe, is actually going to stay the same. The most updated version of the patch notes, I believe it's still going to cost 240 manpower. I think the fuel cost has been removed. Its armor has been somewhat buffed. So it's going to be a bit more durable. So goodness knows what that's going to be. I mean, the old Kubelwagen as we know it, that is long gone according to these changes, which is a great shame because I used to really enjoy microing the Kubelwagen. It was one of my favourite units to micro. I used to pride myself on my ability to keep that thing alive through the mid game and into the late game, and often achieving 4 or more stars of veterancy on that unit. So I'm kind of sad to see that go, but we'll have to see what the new Kubelwagen's like. Let's see. Storm Pioneers have had a cost reduction down to 300 manpower. That should be nice, so you can build them a little more regularly. And also flamethrower tanks cannot explode on Storm Pioneers, which also was horrible when that happened because they're such an expensive squad, so that's nice, I suppose. Volksgrenadiers added regular grenade back. Now, I don't know if that means that they have both the incendiary grenade and the regular grenade, or if they've just reverted the change and they now just have the old regular grenade. If it's the latter, that is terrible. The reason being, the big problem with Overcommand is that you could never really deal with a garrisoned unit in a building for a very long time because none of your units had any way of really clearing them out. And that was a massive problem. If your opponents were Soviets and they got a Maxim into a building, you just had to let them have that area of the map if they knew what they were doing at all. So Overcommand used to have massive problems with units in buildings, and if that is reverted back, I'm going to be horribly disappointed, basically. That is a massive shame if that's what's happened. Volksgrenadier's cost has also gone up from 235 to 250, and their KAR 98K rifle has had a 20% increase in firepower, so from 10 to 12 damage. I believe that brings it in line with other KAR 98Ks, for example, on Grenadier squads. So we'll have to see how that plays. King Tiger, no longer in the tech tree. It's now it's a call-in unit. You're limited to 1, and it costs... Oh no, the cost has changed the same, but the population limit has been reduced. So I believe what this means is when you have all 4 of your trucks, it will appear as a call-in option alongside your commander buttons down at the bottom. So an interesting change there. I think that's basically Relic have changed that, so it enables them to limit it to just being allowed 1 on the field. So they had to make it a call-in to do that, I think. I'm not sure. Munition and fuel transfer, that's been removed. And veterancy 4 and 5 has been completely nerfed across the board. Now, I guess this is... Overcommand used to have reduced fuel income, and then to make up for that, they would have veterancy 4 and 5, so it's like part of what balanced their reduced income. Now that their income is normal, Relic have clearly decided that the veterancy 4 and 5 ought to be nerfed across the board, so interesting that. So anyway, that brings us to the end of the changes for Overcommand as they stand at the moment. As you can probably tell from the things I've said and the tone of my voice, I'm a little skeptical about all this. I think Overcommand were one of the most interesting factions to introduce to the game, and I think this is just basically an admission of failure, that they just cannot handle a faction this atypical in the game. And they're not up to the challenge of trying to make it work the old way, so they're just going to have to make them really boring. Now, I'm probably completely wrong, and I reserve judgment until I actually play it, but I am very skeptical about these changes, and also I think a lot of these changes just nobody wanted. Like, you know, the Kubelwagen changes. What was wrong with the Kubelwagen? And also, without that, another change, of course, they've removed all suppression from the light gun. So without suppression on the Kubelwagen, without suppression on the light gun, that means that Overcommand West does not have access to the core game mechanic of suppression. Unless they build a flak half-track, which is probably still terrible and hasn't seen any changes. And yes, I know you can use flak half-tracks, they're just still pretty terrible because anti-tank guns outrange them and kill them in 2 hits, and they're so slow that you'll probably get both of those hits in one sitting if the other player knows what they're doing. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm a skeptic. I guess I'm a skeptic. Now, there's a lot of other changes. A lot of Soviet and Wehrmacht commanders have been changed, the way their resources work. Elite troops no longer has the ability to give veterancy. Soviet industry now doesn't affect your resources. In fact, none of the commanders directly affect your resources. They've all been changed to supply drops. So Ostrupin commander, he just he doesn't have redistribute resources. He just has call in a supply drop and things like that. So that's all interesting. We'll see how that works. One change that I'm really skeptical about is the mobile defense doctrine. His 500 manpower Ostrupin call-in no longer has a chance to give random veterancy on those Ostrupin squads. So that basically means you're now paying 500 manpower for 2 squads of Ostrupin, full stop. That's rubbish, Relic. That's 250 manpower for 1 squad of Ostrupin, and you have to buy 2 at a time. I'm sorry, that's just awful. Like, Grenadiers are 240 a squad. You're not going to pay 250 for Ostrupin. That's just a very short-sighted and poorly thought-out change. I'm just going to say it. I think that's terrible. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Let's see. Yeah, the British sniper is seeing. In fact, the Brits are seeing a lot of changes. Heavy engineers upgrade is going to cost you a lot of munitions. And the 6-pounder AT gun has been increased in cost. That is needed, I think, because it was previously the cheapest and best AT gun. Now at least it's the best, but it costs the same as the others, so that seems fair. And there's a few other changes going on with the air support and things like that on the various factions. So yeah, those are the changes. So please do let me know what you think. As I've already said, pretty much, I'm fairly skeptical of these changes. I don't really like them, and I don't think it's what anyone wanted. I don't think it's the direction the game should be going in. So I'm a little concerned about the future of Company of Heroes 2. But you know, like I say, I reserve full judgment until I've got my hands on the new patch, which is coming out in December, and you know, until I've played it and given it a fair go. You know, I'm not Relic, I'm not in their position, I don't know the things they know, so you know, they might have this right. And to be fair, generally in the past I've agreed with most of their balance changes. I think a lot of what they've done has made sense over the patches. And I think generally speaking, the game as it is right now is pretty much the best it's ever been from a balance and fun to play perspective. I really enjoy it. So we'll have to see how it goes. But I would greatly value your feedback out there. You're players just like me. You're passionate about the game. You enjoy playing it. You've subscribed to the channel, or you're just watching the video because you like the game. So you know, I'm really curious to see if I'm alone on this one, or if everybody else is also a little bit unsettled, or what, or if I've missed something, or if you have any points, anything to add. That would be really interesting, because like I say, just looking to gauge some feedback and see what other players think about this. So yeah, if you could leave some comments or whatever, I would be really thankful. That would be super cool. So yeah, I believe that's pretty much all I have to say about that for now. I'll update you as and when I hear more, and try and keep you abreast of developments as the game sort of moves forward. Oh, that's right. There is one more piece of news. There's 2 new commanders coming out. One for United States Forces, one for Overcommand West. They'll be coming out in December. The American one brings the Calliope and some other cool stuff, P-47 rocket strafes and stuff, I think. The German one brings the Goliath remote-controlled bomb, which sounds weird, but we'll have to see. So yeah, those are the 2 new commanders who will be coming. Let's hope that the Overcommand West one is better than the unusable flamethrower commander guy, Feuersturm commander. He is tragic. I've not seen him used once. And I've heard just terrible things about him, which again, I shouldn't judge him till I try him, but I don't know, I'm experienced enough about this game that I can look at that commander and see that, like, 1 of the 5 abilities are relevant, which is sad, really. So, anyway, let's turn our attention back to the game. So, let's have a look at the scoreline first of all. I haven't really been paying close attention. It is an Allied lead at the moment by 175 tickets. Doggyislove finding himself in a good position. The Axis commander, let's have a look at the force distribution here. So we've got Panzer Grenadiers, 2 squads of Grenadiers with LMG-42 upgrade, 2 MG-42s, a mortar, Pioneers of course, and a pack gun. So a nicely balanced force distribution. And for the American player, an M1, a pack howitzer, rear echelons, 2 of riflemen with flamethrowers. So that means of course that the elite rifleman commander is the commander of choice, a captain and a lieutenant and captain respectively, and a utility car. So nobody's taken a massive lead on the board. Supply count's just about equal at 57 to 59. So this is still anybody's game, although the American player has been able to leverage the victory points to his advantage thus far. Now, the Elite Rifleman commander, actually, there's another change, actually. Elite Riflemen are not going to be a thing anymore. You can no longer call in Elite Rifleman. He's going to have an ability which on his Rifleman which allows him to sprint, I believe, called Fire Up. So that's another change which I neglected to mention. Oh no, the utility guard gets sniped by the Panzer Grenadiers. And here comes a bundle grenade, and these Riflemen, they are going to see it. There comes the fallback. And they are going to survive that one. On the right flank, a squad of Pioneers, just going to be annoying. They're going to pull a squad of Riflemen off the line, so you have to come and deal with them. Let's see now. Mortar squad in a decent position, but not presently firing. He could actually move that just here into the light cover, and it will probably be able to fire on this position here. Yeah, this is a great target here, actually. There's two weapon teams, very nicely exposed. Here comes a rifle grenade, though. And, oh, the weapon teams are going to move. Wow, Doggyislove. Clearly very aware of his micro when it comes to dodging explosives, and it's going to save both of the fragile and useful weapon teams here. So that's good stuff. Whoa, these riflemen are overextending a bit. They're getting right up into the base MG. They're going to have to fall back. Just bear with me a second here. I'm just going to have to blow my nose.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
There we go, sorry about that, I have returned. So, let's see, have a sip on my tea. That's the stuff. Okay, so pretty much a standoff right now, but it's the Axis player who has to do something. The onus is on him to make a move right now, and he's going to try with these Pioneers to come forward and take a point. Now, that's probably going to be thwarted, but an MG42 has them covered, the pack howitzer is firing in rounds, and these Pioneers, they're actually being suppressed by their own MG42, I believe. Oh no, of course that will be from the pack howitzer. And are they going to get the decap done? It looks like it. Oh no, don't move out of the capture zone. They've moved out of the capture zone. Oh no, a crucial last minute mistake there. They decided to move out of the capture zone. Probably he just wanted to move them here. I'm not quite sure what that was about. Has to be frustrated about that is Don Francis. A Panzer IV command tank. Oh, no, sorry, I thought a Panzer IV was arriving, but it's not. A Panzerwerfer is on the field. What the? That means that Tech Level 3, Escalate to Battle Phase 3 is done, and the Heavy Panzer Corps is the choice. Wow. Don Francis doing things a little bit differently out here. The Panzerwerfer yet to fire, but let's see what it does. Pineapple comes out onto these Grenadiers. Whoa, it's going to blast the poor Grenadier squads. They're going to have to fall back. A nice concave of fire here from the American forces. The lieutenant in this building adding to that. Here comes the Panzerwerfer, and he's going to take some shots. I'm guessing the barrage target has to be here. I mean, there's a number of light guns and stuff. Whoa! Okay, it's going to saturate this light gun, but none of the rockets really hit, killing only 2 men there. So the Panzerwerfer's going to have to get back now. I believe it only got 2 kills. Yep, 2 kills on that one. The mortar team is going to have to get out because they're taking heavy fire. Down to 2 men, so is this MG42. So things are beginning to look a little bit bleak for Don Francis. Now trailing by about 135 tickets. Sorry, 235 tickets. So he's got to make something happen. This is some very heavy weapons team-based play from the American player, though. Not often you see the double the double pack howitzer, but they are set up in nice positions and they're doing good damage as well. Expect to see some Stars of Veterancy appearing over. Maybe I take it back, actually. Well, Stars of Veterancy will be on the way, but not nearly as soon as I thought. I guess those are quite expensive weapons teams, so they take a while to Veterancy up. A Pineapple going to be lobbed here, but to no effect. Now, this is a nice target for a pack howitzer. I think you need to spread your infantry out a bit more here, Don Francis. Just spread them out. Put these Grenadiers here, put these Panzer Grenadiers here, get these guys going over there. Yeah, okay, that's looking better. They're pushing up, but a flamethrower gets up into a great building here for the American player. Actually, he's going to come out to throw a Pineapple. Pineapple comes down, and there's no dodge. Oh, these guys need to fall back. There could be a double squad wipe going there. The Flamer Pioneers are going to go down. The Grenadiers seemingly are going to escape. And it seems like he's only fighting with half his force at a time here as Don Francis, just making random infantry pushes on the right, and just kind of, just everything here on the left is just kind of static. I think he needs to make a more concerted push. If he was pressuring the middle VP whilst all this was going on, you know, if this MG42 squad had moved up here into this light cover, then it would have quite a nice arc here whilst it was capping. So, don't know why that isn't happening. Anyway, Panzerwerfer's going to come forward. That's probably going to look to take another barrage sooner rather than later. Looks like he's just moving it into position, so as soon as he sees where those pack howitzers are firing from, he can start firing with it. He's up to about 100 fuel. The American player right now on about 20, 30 fuel. So let's see, he does have his major out, and there's a Sherman on the way. So things are about to get harder for the Axis player. That Sherman, if used quickly, could come forward and try and snipe the Panzerwerfer. So keep an eye. Wow, Shermans build incredibly quickly, actually, don't they? Damn. Shermans build really fast, actually. I'm pretty sure Panzer IVs and stuff don't build that fast. The Sherman could look to ambush this Panzerwerfer, which can probably only sustain a hit or two, even from the explosive ammo. So he could drive the Sherman in using explosive, not armor-piercing ammo. Here it comes. And is he going to set that to prioritize vehicles? Ooh, no, he's not. And unless I'm much mistaken, that appeared to be... Yeah, he's set to armor-piercing right now, which is not really going to do that much against all these infantry units. Panzerwerfer's going to fire, and you've got to think the target has to be about here. Oh, it's a little too far back, so I think it got like one guy off this captain squad, but pretty much other than that, ineffective. Despite the good saturation on that barrage, that's pretty fearsome, isn't it? So just take another sip on my tea. So, wow, yeah, managing this position quite well at the moment. But finally able to decapture the victory point. Don Francis gets himself out from under the clock, and he's going to look to capture this back. Whoa, pack howitzers still raining shots in. That's pretty intimidating stuff. The American indirect fire pieces, ever spooky. Wow, I think that was a mine on the floor, which just got set off as well. That guy just got absolutely maimed by a shot. These grenadiers need to make sure that they're in the capture zone. There we go. Don Francis is on top of it. MG42 gets set up in a great piece of heavy cover. That's going to be able to suppress this building, which also the mortar is also targeting. This GR34 is up to 2 stars of veterancy, so I believe that's the rate of fire increase it gets. Is that right? Yep, accuracy and rate of fire. So veterancy 2, quite the level to get with the plucky Axis mortar squad. Oh dear though, the pack howitzers have begun to acquire the MG42 team, and they're quite clustered here. So it could only take like a one good hit to destroy them. Oh, they got quite wounded by that one as well. Here comes the Sherman. Is he still not loaded high explosive? He has not loaded high explosive. This seems... Whoa, there we go. There's the lethal shell from the pack howitzer. But yeah, not loading high explosive. A touch awkward, actually, for this Sherman. Which, there we go. Now high explosives are being used. And immediately the effect being felt. Taking off half the health of that Pioneer squad. Killing a man. Pack gun comes forward, but that's a risky position. There is a 50 caliber machine gun team reasonably close by. Rakettenwerfer's going to fire again though. Sorry, Panzerwerfer, and it tries to find the... Yeah, it gets the pack howitzer. Wow. God, that was right on the edge of the blast, but a stray rocket just flailing out wide. That's going to take it down. And a level of veterancy now on the Panzerwerfer. I believe that... Oh, that unlocks counter barrage. That's a bit lame. I thought it got faster reload times. That must be veterancy 2 then. Yeah, rate of fire and shell accuracy. So, yeah, a bit of a shame that wasn't ready. Here comes a pineapple onto this MG42 team, and that will do good, yeah. This team needs to fall back right now. Oh, they're going to try and redeploy. No, they're not. He's going to fall back, and he should be good for it. Now, I don't know about moving here. I think that this should have been an A move at best, so his grenadiers began firing back here. Pineapple comes down, going to make mincemeat of one of the grenadiers. The flamethrowers are doing work on the others, and this needs to be a fallback from this, at least this squad. Okay, I think the correct position to take that fight from was probably in this light cover, or even from the open just here using A move. Sherman's going to take a bit of a dive into the base here. Not sure what I think about this. There are 2 Panzer Grenadiers here with Panzer Shreks. That means the Sherman's pretty weak. Where's the pack gun right now? Pack gun needs to be repositioning, coming down here. Oh, the pack gun could have gotten a lethal blow there, but it is not going to do so. Just needed to reposition and use that pack gun in the fight. A Panther tank is on the way for Don Francis, so all not lost for the Axis forces. He's managed to hold on for the incredibly potent medium tank to arrive, and with that, he should be able to police the Sherman a little bit. We'll see. Uh-oh, pack gun's going to get caught with its pants down here. This lieutenant more than happy to take advantage of that. Is there going to be... No, the grenade would just be a waste at this point. They're going to grab the mortar. Ooh, cheeky. And then get out of there. So, wow, the mortar going to fall into American hands. That's going to be replacing the pack howitzer, which was taken out. Hang on a second, what did the... oh no, he's just repairing his Sherman. There we go. It always confuses me. When the Americans pop out their vehicle crews, the tank disappears from the units line. And so, yeah, he hasn't lost the Sherman. His vehicle crews are just repairing it. Another grenade going to come down onto this MG team. That's going to force the fallback there, but there is another MG. Here's the Panther tank. That's going to be purchasing an MG42 and spotting scope upgrades, which actually the timers on those run simultaneously. How bizarre! So able to fit both of those upgrades simultaneously. So let's see what the Panther can do. Now I don't believe it's been revealed so far. Some pretty funky camo on that one. It's pretty bright actually. And Panzerwerfer's coming up. Looks like it's ready to take another shot. And there's some tempting targets. Here is good. Here is good. Here would probably be good, but I'm sure the Axis player doesn't know that yet. And here come the shots. And looks like we're going to be hitting the victory point. Okay, that's going to force a fallback, so the victory point here will remain in Axis hands. This one here on the left flank, they're being threatened. And this MG42 is set up in a great position, though. That's going to immediately suppress the MG42, quite the piece. Very useful weapon team. The suppression is very high, and the damage, once you start getting some veterancy on it, the damage starts racking up. It's not much of a damage dealer until you get like veterancy 2, or unless you're using the incendiary ammo, then it really starts hurting. Anyway, Panther tank going to move in, going to start getting some work done. Of course, there's no anti-tank threat present among these units. Actually, no, I take that back, of course. Riflemen, once they have 1-star veterancy, they do put the anti-tank grenade. So that could be a thing. Oh, the Panther is attracting a lot of indirect fire here as well. Now, these Panzer Grenadiers getting right up close here into these riflemen, using a bundle grenade to force the fallback. They're going to try and recap this middle victory point. It seems like Don Francis knows what he needs to do, and he's setting out to do it. He needs to maintain command right now over the victory points, because he's down quite considerably in terms of tickets. Whoa, the Panther's coming way out, not sure about this. There's an anti-tank gun, there's a captain squad with Zooks here. Now, luckily his frontal armor has dealt with most of it so far, and he's going to get the M1 anti-tank gun. That's pretty spicy. Now, where's the Sherman in all this? It's all the way over here. He needs to load armor piercing, which he's not done yet. The pack gun's been remanned. That's going to probably deal with the medium tank, maybe? Oh, it is going to deal with it. Wow. Oh, but a Vengeance high explosive round going to take out the anti-tank gun. So quite the pickup here. And the balance of power, you can feel it shifting. Possibly here. I don't know. Still a massive lineup of infantry forces for the American player. And very dwindling forces for Don Francis. He needs to start building more squads of Panzer Grenadiers, I think, or even just Grenadiers. He just needs more infantry squads out there, because he's getting destroyed out there in terms of unit count. He's down at like 58 under 78 supply.
The enemy has broken our supply lines.
And the Jackson is coming out onto the field. This, of course, quite the potent tank destroyer, and a perfect choice really to deal with the Panther, as long as you're very attentive with your micro. Panzerwerfer's going to cast a barrage out, and now this is quite a wounded Panzerwerfer as well. Ugh, oh, finds a nice barrage target there. I'm not quite sure what was hit, but I believe he got the other light gun. Sorry, the other pack howitzer. So another good barrage. 17 kills and nearly 2 stars on this Panzerwerfer. Don Francis using the lesser spotted unit to pretty good effect, it has to be said. Uh-oh. Now, if an anti-tank rifle grenade comes down off these riflemen and breaks the engine on this Panther, yeah, I was going to say the Jackson is moving into position, so that would have been crucial. Oh no, what is this positioning? Why are you driving rear armor first? What is going on? Uh-oh. Positioning on this Panther is totally suspect, and the Panther is all about the frontal armor, which is not going to get to use. The Jackson comes in, and this needs to be a Panther which is doing something now, and it is not doing anything. Dude, your Panther, what is going on? Don Francis, don't do this to me, man. Oh my god, he's just left it exposed in the open. There we go, he starts to wheel it round. The frontal armor is now facing the correct direction, but the engine is broken. The Jackson can now stalk. These guys need to man the AT gun, but it is not going to be enough. I believe this is the end of the Panther. Oh dear, one ignoble way to lose a Panther. Oh no, and wow, okay, so the Panzer Grenadier is going to get in position, try and get the counter kill on the Jackson, but I believe the Jackson, okay, here comes a Faust, so the Jackson should be in severe danger. Yeah, the Jackson's going to go down, but I mean, there was just no reason to lose that Panther, and again, I'm constantly astounded at just how bad Wehrmacht players are, generally, when I watch live games online, keeping their armor alive and making decisions. I mean, that Panther was parked here, with its rear armor facing up here, and its side armor facing like this, for like, I don't know, 20 seconds, and then it got shot like twice by the Jackson before the Axis player responded. That is just dire. You need to be constantly aware of what your Panther is doing, because it's your most valuable unit on the field. If you get that thing to 2-3 star veterancy, you're set up really nicely. If you throw it away like that, then yeah, the game starts looking really bad for you. So, wow. Don Francis, I don't know if that was a lapse in concentration. I don't know if his doorbell went off. I don't know if he just got a text from his girlfriend saying she's breaking up with him. Whatever. These are all insufficient excuses. Damn it, the Panther should be your #1 priority in life, and that was not the case. So, he will lose the medium tank. Now he's another Jackson's on the build. He's nearly got enough fuel for another Panther somehow. I suppose actually he's had command over this fuel point the entire time and a reasonable amount of map presence and points under his control. He's floating 540 manpower, which I think is a mistake. Oh, he's saving for the Panther. Okay, he has the fuel for the Panther now, so look to see the medium tank on the production queue ASAP. Big concave of American forces here pushing in, and this could be pretty dangerous. Plucky Grenadiers, actually, LMG-42 Grenadiers doing work. And Don Francis, as I was saying earlier, he is cognizant of the fact that he was running out of infantry. He has replaced one of his Grenadier squads, purchasing the LMG-42 for the fresh Grenadier squad, but he's under the clock again. The middle victory point back in American hands. He finds himself at 189 tickets under the 466 of his opponent. Oh my god, he's losing 2 tickets per tick because this point here has been decapped. That's crucial. I was wondering why he was losing 2 and not 1 per tick. That's crazy. So here comes the Jackson, and he still has the resources for this. Oh, he doesn't have the manpower anymore for the Panther. I believe a Panther is like 540 manpower, something like that. 490. Okay. So needs to save just a little harder. And then he can get that. I mean, the alternative is he could go for a Panzer IV command tank, which actually wouldn't be too bad, as long as he keeps it away from that Jackson, because that would actually buff all his forces. It would give him the, the defensive buff which the Panzer IV command tank gives him. And the Panzer IV command tank is probably about as good as a Panther against infantry. It's probably very little to no difference there. Anyway, he now has the money for the Panther. Let's hope to see it on the production kit. You know what? Actually, a Brumbar would be pretty good, because a Brumbar is like okay against a Jackson as long as you keep it away from the Jackson or stun it. No, he's not the build. Yeah, I mean, 160 fuel, 470. Yeah, oh, Brumbar was on the queue for a second. It was a misclick. It was a Panther. Don Francis just trolling me there, just trolling me. Getting my hopes up that we're going to see the spicy tank. Whoa. Oh yeah, of course, when American troops get to 3-star veterancy, a lot of them get this like stim pack mode where their movement speed gets increased. Here, check it out. Extensive combat training and fitness training allows the squad to stay on their toes and remain sharp, increasing mobility and weapon accuracy. So, yeah, so that's Obersoldat and get a similar like stim pack thing. Uh-oh, this building's on super low health. The grenade's going to come down. Oh, the MG team gets out just in the nick of time, and he is going to fall back. Give this man a medal when he gets home. An Iron Cross for him. Panzer Grenadiers in a decent position. They're going to see off these riflemen. A call-in being used. It's the heavy artillery. Sorry, it's the white phosphorus barrage. But the Axis forces are no longer there, so that's going to be for nothing. And this captain squad getting minced at the moment. New squad of Panzer Grenadiers. I'm much preferring this this unit composition. He's replaced a squad of Grenadiers, and he has also gone up to 2 squads of Panzer Grenadiers. This I really like, and I hope he doesn't buy Panzerschrecks for this squad, because having an anti-infantry Panzer Grenadier squad is quite the asset when you're playing against American infantry. So that could be quite cool. Now he has regained control over this point, so he's now only losing 1 ticket per tick, but he's down at 148 under 466. He needs to grab this middle victory point. The Panther tank is now on the field. No upgrades forthcoming. Not a lot of munitions. He can buy the MG42, and that he does. He's going to find these pinned down riflemen. They're being pinned down by this MG42, I believe. Yep, just about. Jackson gets into a good position. Boom! Oh my god, the frontal armor. It was a deflecting round, a deflection, so doing not the full damage there. Not the full amount, but still getting some work done. Boom! Another shot comes in. That's going to be a bounce. Wow, actually, seemingly the Jackson at max range. Not super effective against the Panther, even though the Panther isn't Vet 2 yet, so that is news to me. So Panzerwerfer here, angling for a barrage. Here's a nice target. Here's a nice target. Whoa, the GR34 is now up to 2 stars for the American player. That's not something I say every day. Panzerwerfer's going to fire, though. Where's the barrage coming? If it was here... Oh, it's not there, though. It's not there. He's going to kind of hit the... He's going to kind of hit the mortar, kind of hit this AT gun. That was a target worth having, and I'm sure Don Francis did not have eyes on that situation, so he couldn't possibly have known. But damn, that would have been quite the guesstimate if he'd have picked it. Not that he had any reason to do so. Now, this Panther tank needs repairing. I don't like continuing to try and fight with a wounded Panther tank. The reason being, this is now just you can just lose it a little easier. Oh, you're gonna look after your tanks, buddy. You can tell I've got a great amount of machine sympathy. In fact, you know what? This is just a general thing in my life. Like, I look after my computers, I like relentlessly hoover the dust out of them and make sure that they're in tip-top condition. My motorcycles are all like constantly, I oil the chain like every week and I clean them. and coat them in ACF 50. My cars and things, I always try to like change gears at the optimal times with the smoothest possible clutch shifts and use engine braking when possible to avoid wearing down the brakes. Like I have a lot of machine sympathy. It's a thing with me in my life that I do. And apparently it extends to virtual machines in this game. Speaking of virtual machines, this Jackson is in grave danger. Comes through the hedge into a load of Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks and a Panther tank, which has its engine damaged. This Panther needs to get the hell out. This Panther is in a super dangerous position. What he needs to do is just reverse this Panther to here and then get it back to the base, get it out of the fight, and then get it out of there. Because here comes a captain with some Zooks. This is too slow, because now it's going to be taking fire as it moves, like that. And there's not a lot of infantry here left to help that. Most of the infantry has been suppressed and forced to fall back. The Jackson's repairing. That could come in to deliver the killing blow. And again, this is just a Panther that was in the wrong place for too long. He had an opportunity to withdraw this Panther safely, and I know he was microing the rest of his forces. I know he was dealing with a very complicated battle involving many squads. But that's just not good enough. Company of Heroes 2 will ask more of you. It wants you to look after your squads whilst maneuvering your tanks into the best positions and keeping them safe. And to be fair, if you have to pick one or the other, always save the tank. So anyway, I mean, it's just going to leave it here? This is not a good place to repair a Panther. You can at least start crawling it back down your backfield and get it back into your base. That is, like, you can do that. I mean, Pioneer's taken age to repair, and he only has the one squad, so I mean, he's looking at spending the next, like, 2.5 minutes or so just sat there repairing that thing. Anyway, here comes a Panzer IV command tank. Spicy. Loving the choice here. Oh, nice camo on that one as well. Look at that. That's pretty cool camo. I don't know what it is. Axis camo, man. Them Germans, they had really, really good fashion sense when it came to their tanks. Whoa, Jackson gets a stinging hit, though, onto the command tank. All of this infantry is benefiting from the defensive buff right now. And here comes the Panzer Grenadiers. They're going to do a number on this MG team. Is that going to be a squad wipe? No, it's not. No. Yep, now it is. These Panzer Grenadiers trolling me as well today. Looks like we might see a bundle grenade come down off these guys. Nope, that's going to be a fallback. There's a lot of suppression here, and it's these pack howitzers at the back doing work. Panzerwerfer barrage comes down in a good position, but actually seemingly not getting any work done. MG42's in a great position. Oh, pack howitzer round's going to kill one of them, though. And now he needs to just transition a squad onto this point. I was going to say these guys, but they're now suppressed, so maybe these guys. But he needs to get a squad somehow onto this point. He's down at 88 tickets under 466. And this is a close game. He's actually at 77 supply under 83. Look at the top left. Look at the top right. The force composition for the Axis player, pardon me, is actually pretty good right now. He just needs to... Okay, here we go. The MG42 is going to come forward and try and get the job done. He needs to just sat that down, deploy it with the arc facing. I'm not sure about that. It's a little too far north. I was going to say more like this would be good, but this will do. The pack howitzers are just going to rain hell upon them, though. Look at this. That is a Panzerwerfer target if ever I saw one. Oh, the MG team, a 3-star MG team, blown down in its prime by just like weight of pack howitzers. The Panther tank is kind of, the engine is fixed, but it's really not ready for combat. It's worth going up to 100% health, my friend. Trust me on that. Not going to go for that, though. These Grenadiers want to take this route and get onto this point, I think. I'm not sure about sending everyone this way. Oh no, the American forces are capturing this one back as well. Where's the American major? Okay, here he is. So, I mean, a cunning choice possibly could be, let me look at the tactical map here. If you capture this point here, so this victory point actually counts as the same territory as this bit of road here, I believe. So you could put your major like here, and that would use the lockdown ability, because I'm just looking at this line, yeah? So you could tuck the major here, and that would use the lockdown ability on this point. That would be super cunning. So major here, if you see what I mean, and that would use lockdown because it would be in the same territory as this victory point, and that would pretty much seal the win. I mean, it's a little bit of like, I don't know, fancy tech, if you like. And it's clearly not needed right now, but it would be like the last nail in Don Francis's coffin, you have to feel. Anyway, the Pioneers, they're going to be repairing this Panzer IV command tank, and it looks like, I would say, Don Francis probably has time for one, maybe two. Oh, he's going to use smoke, actually, to cover the fact that these Grenadiers are capping. Smoke, of course, doesn't do a lot against the pack howitzers. Here comes another Rakettenwerfer barrage, though. Panzerwerfer barrage. Where is that landing? Oh yeah, finds a good position, gets a lot of hits on the weapon teams. Sadly, no killing blows, but that's some good damage being done where he needs it. Here comes the Jackson to try and deal with this Panzer IV command tank, but there's a lot of supporting infantry. The Panzer Shrek, Panzer Grenadiers are here as well, but the range on the Jackson is going to keep it safe. And, you know, working as intended there. Now, finally, Don Francis gets himself out from under the clock. He's going to grab the middle victory point, and he's kind of pushing hard. 2 Jacksons now for the American player, though. That's pretty intimidating. Where's the Panther right now? Kind of coming up around here, not sure about this. Doing the finishing touches on this pack gun though, that's pretty good. So yeah, gonna pick that one down. Now let's see if he can get in and take out some of the pack howitzers. One of the Jacksons goes down. Panzer Grenadier is gonna get up in its grill and take it down the Panzer Shrek way. That's pretty cool. This Panther tank now is gonna reverse. The Jackson's looking to flank though, and could take some attack ground shots through this line of sight blocker. Not gonna do so though. And Panther, you see, the correct retreat line for this Panther is this. The reason being, well, I'll explain that another time. Anyway, because we've still got tons of action going on here in the middle. LMG-42 Grenadier is going to pick off an American squad here. A machine gun going to go down. This guy needs to get... Okay, he's not going to get out in time. Those pack howitzers have been MVPs this game, proving that the American indirect fire piece is still not useless. Oh, there's an M1 here. He's going to lose the command tank. There's going to be one more shell forthcoming. Oh, no, there's not. My god, somehow the plucky Panzer IV is going to make it out, but he's going to lose the Panther instead. That is not preferable. The Jackson's going to take a dive for it, and there's no reason why it shouldn't. Bang! There goes the medium tank, and with it, you sort of have to feel Don Francis's hopes in this game. Wow, I think he was just playing that Panther tank just a little too aggressively, and I know he probably feels like he's up against it, so he has to make something happen. But losing a Panther tank is, you know, it's always dire. It is always dire. Panther tanks being lost are turning points in any 1v1 game, all the time, always. So that is sad time. Oops, that is sad times for Don Francis, who is going to be back under the clock. 69 tickets to 442. 63 supply to 65, so in terms of supply not so bad, but if you look at the actual unit count, look at the top left, look at the top right, a lot more action going on for the American player in terms of units on the field, and the pack howitzers still reigning supreme at the back. These Panzer Grenadiers doing good. Actually, it looks like he's going to get himself out from under the clock pretty handily here. Bundle grenade coming down, and amazingly enough, despite the fact that he's at such a deficit here, Don Francis's resources have been good, and he's going to have himself enough money to purchase yet another Panther if he would like to in the near future. Not sure, I'm not convinced that's the right choice. You know what is not the right choice? Leaving these guys here. They need to GTFO. These guys here are getting hammered. How are they able to take out that MG? Wow, what is going on? Oh my god, he didn't get this point, so he's still under the clock. Don Francis, eek. Focus, boy. Let's see what we got here. So he is right now on high explosive rounds with this fresh Sherman. Yep, sensibly falling back in the face of that. Panzer IV command tank nearly fully repaired. That's going to be coming back out. That can kind of challenge the Sherman, and if the Sherman's set to armor piercing, that's just a no. But it can challenge the Sherman if it's not. Getting the Panzerwerfer out of the way, and I have to say his micro on the Panzerwerfer has been pretty damn good. He's been using that very effectively. Credit where credit's due. Not often you see the Panzerwerfer. He's been making it look real good this game. The Jackson just taking shots from the back. Look at the range on that tank destroyer. Sherman here getting some work done in the foreground. Explosive rounds on the Sherman, AP rounds on the Jackson. Of course, not that the Jackson can change, but I'm just saying those are the roles being served by the two vehicles here. Panzerwerfer's going to take some shots. They're going to land kind of around here. Guns down a rifleman squad that was trying to fall back. And this is a Jackson that's kind of in jeopardy here. The Panzer Shrek, Panzer Grenadiers, they'll be happy to take advantage of a Jackson here if they can. Now, the Panzerwerfer finally meets its demise. Taking a dive there is the Sherman. Jackson's going to get out, but there's a Sherman limping away over here. Rear armor is facing. Now, that is I would say that's a probable chase. I would go for that with the Panzer IV command tank, because the chips are pretty much down, and you're only going to be alive for not much longer in this game. So, I don't know. That seems like a chase for me. It's just here, actually. Oh my god, they actually managed to repair the engine, and they're going to get out. These Panzer Grenadiers, going to see it though. They could just get two more Panzer Shreks into it. He's not A-moving though, he's just on move command, so I don't think Shreks are going to be forthcoming. Oh, that's a shame there. Don Francis could have got some extra damage there onto the tank, but that's going to go begging. Wow, Axis infantry. Whoa, you don't want to be sitting here, you want to be swinging across. Wow, if this Axis infantry was just swinging across here, he could wipe out all these squads, and that is like the meat of the Allied force right now, the pack howitzers and so on. Oh no, they're just going to get caught in the open, because the other way they could have gone is sliced up here and caught the Jackson whilst it was repairing. As it is, they're just going to get gunned down in the open. He's not even capping this point. This is a mistake. I don't know what's going on with these infantry, but this is a mistake right here. This is also a mistake. Hang on a second. Yeah, I think Don Francis is just AFK, actually. Yeah, because his squads are just getting gunned down. They're not moving. I think he's just given in here, because none of his squads are moving. Yeah.
losing a sector.
Yeah, this is an AFK German player right now. Okay, so I believe this is the equivalent of a Terran player just lifting up their base buildings and floating them off to all the corners of the map and going to make a cup of tea. He's just saying, all right, you've got this one. He's walked away. Either that or he's raged out and actually destroyed his... Whoa, this guy's... What is going on with this guy? I've never seen... What is going on with this guy? Okay, wow, he like ran away on fire and then burned to death. Interesting. So, this game is all but over. Don Francis is AFK. You can see he's not spending his resources. He's not doing anything. He has given up on this one. So that, I believe, will be the conclusion of this cast. A very good battle there. Don Francis on the back foot the entire time, but very close to breaking out. His use of the Panzerwerfer rocket launcher tank was really good. But for a couple of mistakes microing his armor, I actually think he did really well. He was using Panzer Grenadiers really well. A couple of squads of those up to 3-star. You can see one of them still here. We're kicking ass the whole game. And his force composition in terms of infantry was pretty much there. So just a few small mistakes, really, leading to him being undone by Doggyislove. But this is what I mean. At the top end of the game, it's the small things that make the difference. Always the small things. You'll never see any big differences separating players at the higher end of the game. And anyway, here comes the base rush from the American armor. Doggyislove senses blood very much in the water. In fact, so much blood in the water that really we've just got a kind of body floating in the water here. Yeah, he's going to come in for the hammer blow, and he's probably wondering where on earth his opponent Don Francis is. So, as this base destruction unfolds in front of us, I will conclude the broadcast. Just a quick reminder, as I said earlier on in the broadcast, please, if you have any thoughts about the patch notes that I was discussing earlier, I would really like to hear it, because I got to say I'm a little concerned about the future of this game. Those patch notes just seem really weird. I don't like those changes at all. I'm not really sure what they're thinking prescribing them. And yeah, so please do let me know. Wow, I've just looked out the window. It is a spectacular day out there. I'm going to go and get on the motorbike. Thanks very much for watching. This is Magpie842, signing out.